Senior Life Journeys presents Carol Howell's Let's Talk Dementia, a podcast designed to help caregivers find knowledge, power, hope, and smiles in their dementia caregiving journey. Welcome to Let's Talk Dementia. Here is your host, best-selling author, Carol Howell.
Welcome to Let's Talk Dementia. I am Carol Howell, your host, and I'm glad you've chosen to join me today. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I am recording this. It is December 1st of 2019. Where has the month of November gone? I woke up this morning and went, holy cow, it's already December. So that means today is Sunday, and it is the first Sunday of Advent. I'm recording this before I go to church. I am worship leader for a small gathering of folks at an assisted living here in my town, and we will begin the Advent season. So I hope that this Advent season is meaningful for you and that you find some time to stop and to think about the anticipation of the season, the arrival of the Christ child, and the difference that has made in our world and hopefully in your heart and in your life. Well, I wanted to tell you a little story about Dr. Oz. Now, you know there are a million things that pop up on Facebook of where Dr. Oz has supposedly endorsed some product and they want you to click on it and purchase it when Dr. Oz doesn't have squat diddly do to do with that product. But today I'm going to tell you a true story about Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz has just learned or recently learned that his mother has Alzheimer's. And of course that is never a fun thing to learn. I don't care who you are, what station in life you are. It's just not words you ever want to hear. You know, you don't want to say the words, my loved one has Alzheimer's. But Dr. Oz has faced that in his life. And Dr. Oz is a well-known television star and a very well-known cardiologist. And I have a friend whose husband was operated on, had heart surgery by Dr. Oz. Pretty neat, huh? So he's helped a lot of people in the medical field, but now he helps people with his television show. Well, his mother, Suna, was recently diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And of course, as I said, it was upsetting for Dr. Oz. But for him in particular, it was more difficult because he says he missed the warning signs. Totally missed the warning signs. He knows the warning signs for Alzheimer's or for dementia. And they just didn't register that this is what was going on with Miss Suna, his mom. And that was very distressing for him. And I am sure there are many of you who are listening that too can look back on your story and say, yep, that happened to me. And I dig it. Yeah, I do. I did not miss the warning signs with my mama, but I'm going to tell you, I didn't know what I was seeing was warning signs of Alzheimer's. I just knew it was warning signs of something really cruddy, nasty going on with mama. And then I found out it was Alzheimer's. And that was what began my journey of learning and being trained to be a professional in this field. Well, that just leads me to the topic of here after Thanksgiving. Have you spent some time with your loved one and you're tuning into this show for the first time because you think, I saw some stuff in mama or daddy or whomever that kind of bothered me over this Thanksgiving holiday, and I wonder if it's dementia. And for those of you who know this is what you're dealing with, you know, a little refresher course is always a good thing. So dementia is the inability to think clearly that affects the activities of daily living. That is my version of the definition for dementia. But the activities of daily living are bathing, eating, ambulating, dressing, and toileting. You can remember them by the acronym BEAD, like the beads on the necklace, BEAD, put a T on the end, bathing, eating, ambulating, dressing, and toileting. So when we start having problems in our ability to process thought, that affects at least 2 of those 5 areas of daily living. The doctors are going to call it dementia. And in Dr. Oz's mama's case, her dementia was diagnosed as Alzheimer's type dementia. And there's over 200 kinds of dementia. So we need to get to the doctor. If you have recognized in your loved one some confusion that you've not seen before, or they're asking you the same questions, then it's time to be proactive. So what are some of those warning signs? Well, a personality change. They just are not who they used to be. Maybe they seem a little agitated. Well, The reason they're agitated, folks, is they know there's something going on that's just not right with them. Because, see, they've known it for a while. You might not have picked up on it, but they've known for a while, and that's very distressing. I can tell you, anytime something's wrong in your physical being, it has a way of stressing you, even if it's nothing really large. It's just the annoyance of it can be stressful for you, much less realizing you're just forgetting everything. That's just got to be a horrible thing. So that can cause a personality change. Unusual behaviors. One of the unusual behaviors that Dr. Oz saw with his mom was that she began giving her personal belongings to total strangers. Well, now, it's okay to give what you got. If you want to share something with your children or your grandchildren, pass it down through the ages, that's wonderful. But when you give Mama's heirloom necklace to someone you don't know, that's not so good. I can tell you, in one of my choir members, I used to direct choirs of folks who had dementia, and one of them wrapped up and gave to me this really cool pair of clip-on earrings, which I'm pretty sure clip-on earrings are something straight from the bowels of hell. They kill your ears. But anyway, she said, I just wanted you to have these. And these were very expensive earrings that I knew I cannot keep these earrings. And I just thanked her profusely and then took them and gave them to the executive director of the community. And I said, will you please make sure her family gets these earrings back? I didn't want to say, oh, no, you can't give me these. That would hurt her feelings. So as far as she knows, I still have those earrings, but I don't. So giving away personal belongings to strangers, that's one type of unusual behavior. But like I said, personality changes, that's an unusual behavior. Spending money that they would never spend, giving away money. We see folks with dementia, especially fairly early on when they're having problems processing thought, they may make lots of donations, and is as if there's not a lot of opportunities to do that, especially this time of year. Now, for those of you who are looking to make a donation, I would love for you to do that to our not-for-profit. We are a 501c3 registered with the United States government, and it is tax deductible, and you can do that at our website, letstalkdementia.org, and I thank you for that. But if you're having problem processing thought, don't make a donation. My disclaimer there. But we also see folks that will begin buying a lot of things. Oh my word, QVC. I think QVC probably makes a whole bunch of money off of people who are beginning to have cognitive issues because everything looks great. And all I've got to do is give you this number and you'll send it to my door. Well, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Send it on. And we see mom and daddy start having all kinds of stuff delivered. His mom, Dr. Oz's mom, became very confused about place and time. Now, what does that mean? Well, place being as in where you are. Time as in where you are in life, what year it is, what month it is. Not so much what time it is. We can get confused about that. I can tell you, lately my husband and I have been sitting down and been so busy during the day, and by about 7:30 we're thinking, well, it must be about time to go to bed. It's probably about 9:30, and we look at our watch and it's 7:15, 7:30, and we're like, what? So being confused about time is not the clock time, but time as in what year it is, what month it is, who's the president, those kinds of things. She began to have problems with that. She would constantly call and invite him to lunch. Well, that sounds totally innocent, except she lives in Turkey, which is an 11-hour flight from the United States, and she didn't understand why Dr. Oz could not just come have lunch with her. We see folks withdraw from work. They withdraw from social life. They withdraw from hobbies. They quit doing things that are important or were important to them. I can tell you with sweet mama, Miss Vera Jean, who went to heaven on May 31st. It was my first Thanksgiving without mama, y'all. But she started having problems sewing. My mama, all of my life, had made all of our clothes growing up. She made clothes for people in the neighborhood. She made draperies. I mean, mama just sewed up a storm. At one point, we owned more stacked up fabric mama had bought on sale than we probably did food, because mama was always buying fabric. But mama couldn't thread the sewing machine. Yeah, she would yell, Pookie, come here. And I'd go in there, she'd go, so I've got this sewing machine messed up. Figure out what I did wrong. And she would have the process of threading the sewing machine down through the various things that you do on a sewing machine. It would be all messed up. So those kinds of problems we begin to see. Another thing my mom had problems with was I did teach her to crochet when she was very, very, very early in her diagnosis. I tell people she had found out about 5 minutes before it happened that or 5 minutes after it happened, that she had dementia. We found out very early. And Mama decided she wanted to crochet, and she was still able to learn that. But as time went on, she couldn't remember how to do that. And believe me, my mama had made enough Afghans that we were like, thank you, Mama, we got no clue what we're going to do with all these Afghans. We began donating them to a charity. So difficulty completing familiar tasks. Maybe that familiar task is cooking or making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or bathing themselves or dressing themselves. The everyday things we have problems with. So when we notice these things, we need to go to the doctor. We need to be aware of it. And that's why you need to keep in touch with your senior citizens. If you're not visiting your mama, your daddy, or your grandma, get your crazy self in the car and go see them. What's your excuse? There's no reason not to be visiting your loved ones. You have a responsibility. Please live up to it. And then you're going to know, you're going to recognize very quickly that there are things going on. And I'm going to tell you, in Dr. Oz's defense, being able to recognize those changes over the phone, that's pretty difficult, because even in the face of dementia over the phone, our loved ones can just amaze us. They're such good actors and actresses, but until we spend maybe an hour or two with them, it takes that before we can see, they're having some issues that we weren't quite aware of. But get to the doctor. Find out what kind of dementia your loved one has. If the doctor says, yeah, you're right, your mom's got dementia, pat you on the back and send you out the door, you say, back the truck up. I want to know what kind of dementia. We're going to need to do some testing. And if they don't want to do the testing, you find a new doctor. It's just that simple. Early diagnosis allows you to take advantage of any treatments or enroll in clinical studies that might be out there. There's not medication that's any good right now for it. There's Aricept and Namenda and Exelon. They think it might help slow the symptoms of the dementia, but it's very, very minimal and very short-lived. But then there are side effects, especially Aricept has the gastrointestinal issues with it. And then Dr. Oz decided to undergo testing to learn if he carries a copy of the APOE4 gene, and he learned he does. The APOE4 gene, if you carry it, does show an increased chance of having Alzheimer's. Now, there are people who have Alzheimer's that don't have the APOE4 gene. There are people who have the APOE4 gene that never get Alzheimer's. So I'm not entirely sure why you even need to go through that testing, but what you need to do instead, and for sure, maybe not instead, but for sure, is to change your lifestyle so that you're eating healthy and taking care of yourself and exercising and resting and having social activities that are healthy and good for your brain and your mind and your emotions. And we've had several shows on that. Well, I'm glad you've joined me today, and we will think about Dr. Oz and his mama Suna and have them in our hearts and prayers as he deals with this new aspect of his life, and she does too. And me, I'm here for you, and you can write me, Carol, at Let's Talk Dementia, at letstalkdementia.org. I'll get it out here, and I will write you back, and we'll work through your journey together. Check us out on Amazon, Let's Talk Dementia, and our website, letstalkdementia.org. Blessings and smiles on your day. Bye-bye.